Born as Tegan around 1162 in the rugged steppes of Mongolia, Genghis Khan's early life was marked by hardship and survival. His father, a tribal leader, was poisoned when Tugajin was just 9, plunging his family into poverty and exile. Betrayed by allies and captured by enemies, young Tugan endured enslavement and constant threats. These trials forged a resilient and cunning leader whose ambition would reshape the world. By his early 20s, Teji began uniting the fragmented Mongol tribes through a combination of diplomacy, strategic marriages, and brute force. His charisma and unyielding determination earned him loyal followers, and by 1206, he was proclaimed Genghis Khan, the universal ruler, at a grand assembly of tribal leaders known as a Kurultai. This marked the birth of the Mongol Empire, a force that would dominate Eurasia for centuries. Genghis Khan's military genius lay in his ability to transform the nomadic Mongol tribes into a disciplined, unstoppable war machine. Rejecting traditional tribal hierarchies, he reorganized his forces into a decimal system with units of 10, Arban, 100, Jagan, 1,000, Mingan, and 10,000, Tumen. Commanders were appointed based on merit rather than lineage, fostering loyalty and competence. This system allowed for unparalleled coordination and flexibility, enabling the Mongols to execute complex maneuvers with precision. The core of Genghis Khan's army was his mounted archers, trained from childhood to ride and shoot with deadly accuracy. Their composite bows, crafted from wood, horn, and sinew, could fire arrows over 300 meters with devastating force. Mongol tactics were revolutionary: lightning-fast cavalry charges, feigned retreats to lure enemies into ambushes, and psychological warfare that instilled terror. Entire cities surrendered at the mere rumor of the Mongols' approach, fearing annihilation. From 1207 to 1225, Genghis Khan launched campaigns that carved out the largest contiguous empire in history. His first major conquest was the Western Xia dynasty in northwestern China, followed by the Jin dynasty, whose capital Zhongdu, modern-day Beijing, was reduced to ruins in 1215. The Mongols' relentless assaults left millions dead and entire regions depopulated. The Khwarezmian Empire in Central Asia faced Genghis Khan's wrath most acutely. In 1219, after the Shah executed a Mongol trade delegation, Genghis retaliated with apocalyptic force. Cities like Samarkand, Bokhara, and Nishapur were besieged and obliterated. In Bokhara, the Mongols reportedly massacred 30,000 people, using survivors as human shields in subsequent battles. This campaign was not just conquest, but a calculated message. Resistance was futile. Genghis Khan was not merely a destroyer, but a visionary statesman. His legal code, the Yasa, enforced discipline and justice across his empire. It protected diplomats, merchants, and religious figures, promoting a level of tolerance rare for the era. Genghis recruited scholars, engineers, and administrators from conquered lands. Muslims, Chinese, Persians, integrating their expertise into his bureaucracy. The Yam, a postal relay system of horse stations, connected the empire from the Pacific to the Caspian, facilitating communication and trade. The result was the Pax Mongolica, a period of relative peace that spanned Eurasia in the 13th and 14th centuries. The Silk Road flourished under Mongol protection, with caravan routes safe from bandits. Goods like silk, spices, and gunpowder flowed alongside ideas, religions, and technologies. The Mongol Empire became a conduit for cultural exchange, linking East and West in ways previously unimaginable. In 1227, Genghis Khan was campaigning against the Western Xia dynasty when he died. The exact date is uncertain, with sources citing August 18th or August 25th. At approximately 65 years old, he was still leading his forces in the harsh terrain of northwestern China. His death marked the end of an era, but its circumstances remain one of history's great mysteries. No definitive record confirms the cause of Genghis Khan's death. Some accounts suggest he succumbed to illness, possibly malaria, typhus, or even the plague contracted during the campaign. Others claim he was struck by an enemy arrow in battle, a fitting end for a warrior. A third theory posits that he was thrown from his horse during a hunt, suffering fatal internal injuries. More fantastical tales speak of a lightning strike or even assassination by a Tanga princess, weaving a mythical aura around his demise. The Mongol leadership acted swiftly to conceal his death, fearing that news of their leader's passing would demoralize the army or embolden enemies. They maintained strict secrecy. The campaign continued with Genghis generals ensuring the Western Xia's submission before addressing the Khan's death. The transportation of Genghis Khan's body back to Mongolia was a clandestine operation. According to legend, his funeral procession traveled under cover of darkness, avoiding populated areas. The Mongols took extreme measures to ensure the tomb's location remained hidden. The most chilling account claims that the entire entourage, soldiers, attendants, and laborers, was executed after the burial to prevent any leaks. The site itself was obscured. The ground was trampled by thousands of horses. Rivers were redirected, and forests were planted to erase all traces. These efforts were so effective that for centuries the tomb's location remained unknown. Some sources point to the Genghis Mountains in northeastern Mongolia near the Onon River, where Genghis was born. Others suggest a remote valley or even a site in China. The lack of physical evidence and the proliferation of contradictory legends have made the tomb one of history's greatest archaeological puzzles. For centuries, the search for Genghis Khan's tomb has captivated scholars and explorers. Medieval chroniclers like Marco Polo and Rashid al-Din offered vague clues, often based on hearsay. In the 20th century, archaeologists used ancient texts, oral traditions, and geographic analysis to narrow potential sites. But expeditions yielded little. The Mongolian government, protective of its cultural heritage, restricted access to sacred sites like the Genghis Mountains, further complicating efforts. In recent decades, advanced technologies, satellite imagery, ground-penetrating radar, and geophysical surveys have been employed in the search. In 2004, a Japanese-Mongolian expedition identified a potential site in the Genghis region but found no conclusive evidence. Other teams explored the Altai Mountains and even northern China, but the tomb remained elusive. The vastness of the Mongolian landscape, combined with the Mongols' deliberate obfuscation, made discovery seem impossible. Cultural and ethical considerations also pose challenges. Many Mongolians view the tomb as sacred, believing that disturbing it could bring calamity. This reverence, coupled with logistical difficulties, deterred many researchers. Yet, the allure of uncovering Genghis Khan's final resting place kept the quest alive. In 2025, a multidisciplinary team of archaeologists, historians, and geographers announced a staggering discovery: a hidden tomb in the Genghis Mountains believed to be that of Genghis Khan. The site, located in a remote valley, was identified through a combination of satellite imagery, drone surveys, and local oral traditions. Initial excavations revealed a subterranean chamber carefully concealed beneath layers of earth and stone. The tomb's contents have stunned the world. Unlike the lavish burials of other ancient rulers, Genghis Khan's tomb was austere, reflecting his nomadic roots. The chamber contained his remains preserved in a simple wooden coffin alongside a small cache of artifacts: a composite bow, a ceremonial saddle, and a collection of gold and silver ornaments inscribed with Old Mongol script. These items, crafted with exquisite detail, suggest a blend of practicality and reverence. More surprising were the documents found within the tomb, sealed in airtight containers. They included fragments of the Yasa, Genghis Khan's legal code, and personal writings attributed to the Khan himself. These texts offer unprecedented insights into his philosophy, strategies, and vision for the empire. Chemical analysis of the remains and artifacts using carbon dating and DNA testing confirmed their 13th century origin, aligning with the timeline of Genghis Khan's death. The discovery has profound implications for history and archaeology. The documents challenge long-held assumptions about Genghis Khan's governance, revealing a leader who prioritized meritocracy and cultural integration over mere conquest. The tomb's location, far from traditional Mongol power centers, suggests a deliberate choice to return to his ancestral homeland, reinforcing his identity as a son of the steppes. The findings also spark debates about cultural heritage. Mongolian authorities have called for the tomb to remain in situ, arguing that it is a sacred site. International scholars, meanwhile, advocate for further study to unlock additional secrets. The artifacts have been carefully catalogued, with some slated for display in Ulaanbaatar's National Museum. Though public access remains limited due to conservation concerns, the discovery of Genghis Khan's tomb marks a turning point in our understanding of one of history's most enigmatic figures. It reveals a leader whose legacy extends beyond conquest to include innovation, governance, and cultural exchange. The tomb's secrecy, maintained for centuries, underscores the reverence and fear Genghis inspired even in death. As researchers continue to analyze the findings, the world watches, eager to uncover more about the man who reshaped the medieval world. The tomb of Genghis Khan, once a legend, is now a reality, one that continues to captivate and challenge our perceptions of history.